Well, thanks, Amber. I'm going to go through just real quickly the four divisions of fungi, and this is kind of important, um, like when you're out in the field to see the broad diversity. So a lot of people just think about, looking for something that looks sort of like a mushroom, but they all look quite differently, and can be like the collections can be insects and things that are sort of uh, uh, where that might be infected with like a parasitic fungi. So we'll talk about like the mycorrhizal fungi, parasitic, saprophytic, which are the decomposers, endophytic, and then there's yeast. Uh, and I'm not sure if that's something that's housed in a fungarium typically, but maybe in um, some capacity. So this first major category is the saprophytic or saprotropic mushrooms. And so these are the decomposers, and their role in the ecosystem is nutrient circulators. So, and they're critical to the formation and the regeneration of our soils. So they form a close relationship with the vast majority of leafy plants, often bonding with and weaving within them at the root level. Uh, so here's some examples. We have ink caps, the yellow parasol mushroom. This is something that people see in their planter pots quite a lot. We have oysters. Just a few more. We have some reishi, turkey tail, chicken of the woods, which are found on our live oaks. And so the second division is the mycorrhizal, which means related to the roots. And this division of fungi forms beneficial relationships with the trees and plants. And so there's endo and ectomycorrhizal fungi. And so this is a very exciting mushroom to study, and it requires a lot more rain. Usually we don't see these until we get like a good amount of rain. So morels, for example, chanterelles, different types of truffles. Got the pecan truffle here. So then this is another category here, the parasitic fungi. So some examples here are the sort of zombie ant. So if you've seen the show Planet Earth, you've seen the documentation of the fungi that takes control of the muscles and drives away the ant to the highest point in the tree for the best spore dispersal, and so eventually taking out the whole colony. And then to the right you see cordyceps, which has become a quite popular medicinal mushroom and can now be cultivated on wheat berries. So here's an example of another species of fungi that's found in the soil and infects periodical cicadas. And so the fourth category are endophytic fungi, and this lives within a plant for at least part of its life cycle without causing any type of disease. And every plant that's been studied to date, we've found the endophytic fungi has a relationship, and it's one of the categories that's not that understood and needs a lot of special equipment to be able to study it and look at it. And so here you see a magnified image that shows the fungus in leaf tissue. And so I just like to bring up, like as we study fungi, it's really important to know what our poisonous mushrooms are. And so in Central Texas, we have the Eastern North American destroying angel. So the one shown here. And so usually it's mycorrhizal with conifers and can be found in East Texas and Bastrop area where you have a lot of pines. And so we just, you know, if you know any mushroom and understand its morphology, it's always good to know these when you're studying them. But for collection purposes, we're usually looking for scientific purposes, not so much for consumption purposes. But we'll get into a little bit more about that in a little bit.